Did you know that the Mexican cultural festival of Cinco de Mayo is actually celebrated more within the US than it is within Mexico, where the festival actually has its roots? Cinco de Mayo is Spanish for the 5th of May, and I will be explaining to you its history as well as how Americans and Mexicans celebrate it differently within their countries. Now, I learned about Cinco de Mayo at a very young age because I have two Mexican American friends who are very knowledgeable regarding the subject, and I celebrate Cinco de Mayo almost every year with them. Now, a large number of Americans, as well as other people around the world, believe that Cinco de Mayo is actually Mexican Independence Day, if you will. But Mexican independence was declared more than 50 years before Cinco de Mayo, so that's completely incorrect. Now, Cinco de Mayo is also known as the anniversary of the Battle of Puebla. And if you look at this map that I have right here, Puebla is located just southeast of Mexico City, which would be the capital of Mexico. So just southeast. Now, the Battle of Puebla began in 1861 when English, Spanish, and French troops invaded Mexico as a result of Mexico postponing repayment on debts owed to them. But the English and Spanish left in April of 1862. However, the French troops did not leave as they were under the control of Napoleon Bonaparte, who was hungry for war. Now, on May 5th, 1862, a French army of 6,000 troops attacked Puebla at daybreak, and by the early evening, they were defeated by a ragtag force of 2,000 men who were led by General Ignacio Zaragoza and who were put together by Mexican President Benito Juarez. Now, although the Battle of Puebla was not a crucial strategic win in the overall Franco-Mexican War, this victory helped institute a much-needed perception of national unity and patriotism in Mexico, and it strengthened the resistance. Now, had Mexico not defeated the French in Puebla, France would have most likely aided the Confederacy in the U.S. Civil War. Now that we have a lucid comprehension of the history behind Cinco de Mayo, I will explain how it is celebrated within Mexico and also within the U.S. According to History.com, in Mexico, Cinco de Mayo is mainly observed in the state of Puebla, where the battle took place, and traditions include military parades, recreations of the Battle of Puebla, as well as other festivities. And people will usually dress up as Mexican and French soldiers. Now, Cinco de Mayo is actually somewhat ignored within Mexico for some reason. I don't know why. But it's not observed as a national holiday, but kids still get school off. Public schools have school off. Now, it is a full holiday in Veracruz, and it is a national holiday in the state of Puebla. Now, let me tell you how much differently Cinco de Mayo is celebrated in the U.S. Celebration in the U.S. began in the 1860s in California in reaction to the resistance to French rule in Mexico. Within the U.S., Cinco de Mayo is construed as a celebration of Mexican culture and heritage, especially in areas with considerable Mexican American populations, like Houston, LA, and Chicago. Now, History.com also indicates that presently, revelers celebrate the occasion with parties, parades, Mexican beer, margaritas, mariachi music, Mexican folk dancing, and traditional Mexican foods such as tacos and mole poblano. Now, many marketers, especially beer companies, take advantage of the celebratory nature of the day and advocate it. And once it was linked with the advocacy of Mexican alcoholic beverages, Cinco de Mayo took off in the U.S. But many festivities have a propensity to perpetuate negative cliches or stereotypes of Mexicans and advocate immoderate alcohol consumption. Now, in 2006, there were more than 150 official Cinco de Mayo events within the United States. Now, let me conclude by stating that Cinco de Mayo is a very important day within Mexican history, as a small, poorly equipped Mexican army crushed Napoleon's much larger French army. And at that time, the French army was considered to be the premier army of the world. Cinco de Mayo is more than just an excuse for people to drink Mexican beer, margaritas, and eat traditional Mexican food. It marks the defeat of a well-armed French army of 6,000 by a greatly outnumbered Mexican army of 2,000. And that French army had not been defeated for 50 years previous to this battle. And since then, no European army has ever invaded any country in the Americas. But however, if the French had won and aided the Confederacy in the United States Civil War, the U.S. destiny would have surely been different. Thank you.